Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the entire staff of Beech Ridge Motor Speedway and the Cusack family, it's my pleasure to welcome you to Beech Ridge Motor Speedway, Maine's oldest continually operating family-owned speedway. Tonight, it's the Modified Showdown, the return of the Modifieds to the Beech Ridge Motor Speedway Oval, as the owners and drivers continue to try to refine these machines and make them as safe as they possibly can be. So it's the Modified Showdown tonight, sponsored by the Maine Speed and Off-Road Company that we'll be telling you more about. We will be opening with qualifying heats in our three main divisions, the Limited Sportsman, Late Model Sportsman, and the Modifieds in just a few moments. Heat number 1 is rolling out onto the speedway. These are the lower point Limited Sportsmen able to run in the main event. 12 cars will qualify from each of 2 of these Limited Sportsman qualifying heats. Assistant starter Junior Niles on the flag stand for heat number 1, giving the drivers the all clear as they approach the 3-turn, signaling to watch for a start in turn 4. Alan Burby on the pole. Green flag is out. Alan Burby in the number 15, and right on his bumper, Gordon Nelson in the 161. Then comes a side-by-side battle for third. Billy Thompson to the inside, Chapman to the outside, but a pile-up in turn 1. We'll bring out the yellow flag before the cars can complete one full lap. Tim Gendron is into the sand pile off the turn 1 area. Other cars involved, the 107 of Doug Shores, the 114 of Dan White. Ready to try it once again. Heat number 1. Burby and Chapman on the front line bring him down. Green is out at turn 4. Chapman right off over the 4-turn. And that opens up the inside line, and Gordon Nelson fills it right at the bumper of Alan Burby. Then comes Phil Weeks in the 19. Dennis Quinn in the 06. Side-by-side battle shaping up for 5th spot. Chuck Haynes to the inside, Phil Weber to the outside. As they negotiate turn number 1, Alan Burby brings him down. Gordon Nelson looks to the outside of the number 50 now. Phil Weeks will take advantage of that if he possibly can. As the 161 moves to the outside, the 19 will try to fill the inside. Phil Weeks, a rookie in the number 19 with a very respectable year in his first year of competition, works to the inside of a veteran in the 161, Gordon Nelson, back in the competition here just about mid-season. Always a strong runner in the Limited Sportsman ranks. Billy Thompson off the pace, experiencing some mechanical difficulty. Looks like he's headed on the pit road and will have to be back in the consolation event. Leader continues to be Alan Burby in the number 50. Side-by-side battle now for second with Phil Weeks to the inside, Gordon Nelson to the outside. Then comes Dennis Quinn, Chuck Haynes, and Phil Weber. As the top six have put a little distance on the rest of the pack. Remember, only 12 cars to qualify for the main event. The rest will have to try to do it in a consolation event. Rocky Yago gets way wide in the 65, turns it at the entrance to the pit area. Gets the car refired, and that keeps us under green. Don Tapley also way wide as he takes it right out over the stripe. Whether the car just perhaps got out of shape or something malfunctioned. He's not taking to the pit area, so evidently feels that he can run it a little more. They'll be approaching the halfway mark, indicates Flagman Junior Niles. Alan Burraby continues to show the way in heat number 1. 8 down and 7 to go. Last qualified car appears to be the number 1 of Dave Sprague. Alan Burraby gets out of shape coming into the front stretch, does a nice job of collecting the car back up, hangs on to the lead. He continues to be pressured by the 161 of Gordon Nelson to the outside, Phil Weeks to the inside. Phil Weber on the move in the 79 as he works now, looks to the outside of the 19 of Weeks. Gordon Nelson making a run at the outside of the number 50, the veteran in the 161. Gordon Nelson now trying to draw it even as they race the backstretch to the 3-turn. Burraby to the inside in the 50, Gordon Nelson to the outside in the 161. Then comes the side-by-side battle. Weeks to the inside, Phil Weber has come a long ways on the outside. As he puts a nose ahead of the number 19 in the 2-turn, looks down the backstretch at the back bumper of the 161. It'll be just 2 laps to go next time by in this 15-lap qualifying heat. Alan Burraby so far has led it from the start. Last qualified car continues to be the number 1 of Dave Sprague. White flag will be in the air as the cars approach the front stretch. 1 lap to go. Gordon Nelson once again will challenge the number 50 in this last lap as he looks to the outside of the Alan Burraby machine as they race the backstretch to the 3-turn. Alan Burraby collects heat number 1 by about a half a car length over the 161 of Gordon Nelson. Then comes the 19 of Phil Weeks, the 79 of Phil Weber, and the 06 of Dennis Quinn. The rest of those cars will be back a little bit later on in a consolation event. As Alan Burraby coasts down to collect the colors and record it for the record book. Nice round of applause for the winner of heat number 1, please. Alan Burraby in the number 50. Flagman Eddie Walsh asks the drivers to keep it even, wait for a start at turn 4. Jay Johnson, Gary Pulsifer, green is out. Jay Johnson by a bumper at the start-finish line. They're side-by-side into turn 1. Jay Johnson with the lead down the backstretch. Bringing them down for the first lap, Jay Johnson continues to be the leader. Side-by-side battle for second. Al Burset to the inside, Gary Pulsifer to the outside. Andy Lude on the move in the number 56 as he races to the outside. Yellow flag is out as Billy Childs has spun off over the 4-turn. Unable to refire the number 99, and that will put the late models under caution with 1 lap down in this 10-lap qualifying heat. Flagman Eddie Walsh gives the drivers the all clear as they approach the 3-turn down the backstretch. 1 lap down. Jay Johnson, Gary Pulsifer bring heat number 1 for the late models down to try it again. Green is out. Dead even as they race the front stretch to the 1-turn. Slight advantage to the 19 in the 2-turn down the backstretch. Stacked up side by side, right back through the field. Jay Johnson, a veteran out of West Buxton, Maine, in the number 19. Continues to lead, side-by-side battle for second now. Rookie Al Burset out of Portland, Maine, in the number 17. The number 27 driven by Gary Pulsifer. Kenny Lund looking for racing room to the inside. Andy Lude looking for the same to the outside. Here comes Kenny Lund up the inside in the number 1. Challenging Pulsifer now for that 3rd position. Kenny Lund appears to have it at the 2-turn. Here comes Andy Lude up the inside, the number 56, and they'll be approaching the halfway mark. It'll be 5 down, 5 to go as they cross the stripe. Jay Johnson continues to hold the point, holding off the 17, the Eagle Racing number 17 of Al Burset. Kenny Lund closing it up now a bit on the number 17. Andy Lude looks to the inside of the number 1, not quite room enough that time. 16, Tim Land, the 27 of Gary Pulsifer, appear to get together just a little bit in the 2-turn. It'll be 2 laps to go this time by. Jay Johnson putting a little distance on the 17 of Burset now. Kenny Lund in 3rd. Andy Lude in 4th as they come under the white flag. 1 lap to go. Heat number 1 will go to West Buxton's Jay Johnson, followed by the 17 of Al Burset, the number 1 of Kenny Lund, the 56 of Andy Lude, and the 16 of Tim Land. Heat number 1 for the late models. Jay Johnson in a Pontiac Grand Prix, sponsored in part by Johnson's Garage and Son Financial Group. Nice round of applause for heat number 1, the late models, please. Jay Johnson. Definitely a late model to watch in the feature event coming up a little bit later on. Paid a visit to modified driver Lou Weatherby this afternoon, and I'm very, very pleased to report that Lou Weatherby is making tremendous progress. In fact, he's talking about getting back into racing, and that's not what his wife wants to hear, but it's a sign that he's feeling a whole lot better. Eddie Walsh brings him down to a green at turn 4. Scott Watts in the F80 shows the way. Here comes Jimmy Emerson up the inside to challenge for 2nd place under the number 90 of Kevin Tobias. And it looks like Emerson has his number 24 into 2nd place. Here comes Dave Lamprin right up the inside to challenge for 3rd, and he takes 3rd. Tobias gets the car to the inside to fill the 4th spot. Brad Layton in the number 7. Gary Drew in the number 9. Scott Watts, the young Charger out of Seabrook, New Hampshire, shows the way. Then comes Jimmy Emerson out of Wyndham in the Jimmy Glantz prepared number 24. The number 21 driven by Dave Lamprin. The number 90 rookie this year, Kevin Tobias, up from the limited sportsman ranks. Brad Layton, current point leader in the limited sportsman, doing double duty now, driving the Goodwin Hannaford prepared number 7. They'll be approaching the halfway mark. It'll be 5 down, 5 to go. Scott Watts continues to show the way. Dave Lamprin trying to find a way to challenge the 24. He gets out of shape just a little bit, has to back out of it, out of the 2-turn, and that gives Jimmy Emerson a little breathing room in the number 24. Brad Layton setting up to challenge the number 90 of Kevin Tobias. Layton once again limited sportsman high point man here in the limited sportsman ranks and doing double duty behind the wheel of the number 7 modified. It'll be 2 laps to go as they cross the stripe next time. It will be 8 down and 2 to go for Scott Watts. Watts, one of the young lions here of the modified ranks. 20-year-old youngster out of Seabrook, New Hampshire. As they come under the white flag, 1 lap to go. Scott Watts driving an 87 Cavalier bodied modified. He will see the checkered flag fly. Heat number 1 goes to Scott Watts from Seabrook, New Hampshire. Jimmy Emerson is second, Dave Lamprin third, Kevin Tobias fourth, and Brad Layton fifth. The F80 is sponsored in part by Bagley's Electric and Tessetta Chevrolet. And young Scott Watts was the most improved driver in the '89 season. Nice round of applause for the winner of heat number 1 in the modified division, Scott Watts. Flagman Eddie Walsh gives the drivers the all clear as they glance across, moving down into the 3 turn. Earl Glidden Jr., Mark Field, green is out. Glidden takes the quick lead down into turn 1. Mark Field in the 72 goes right to his back bumper. Side-by-side battle shaping up for third. Richard Olin in the 89. Steve Winslow in the number 10. Then comes a side-by-side battle for the next spot. Ron Smith in the 49 and Beaver Norton in the 38. These are the higher point limited sportsmen. Once again, 12 cars to qualify for the main event. It is a handicap system with the high point men starting at the tail end of the lineup. If they don't get up through, they're going to have to try to do it in the concert. Earl Glidden continues to show the way. He is a rookie this year in the limited sportsman division out of Westbrook, Maine. Mark Field in the number 72, somewhat of a veteran here of limited sportsman competition, along with his brother in the number 88, Mike Field. Richard Olin gets sideways trying to hang on to that third spot. Cars come together in the 2 turn. Rick Fournette turns it right at the exit of the infield pit road. We'll have to see if he's able to keep it underway. He appears to be able to keep the car moving. We stay under green with 4 laps down in this 15-lap qualifier. 12 cars to qualify. You keep your eyes on them. All of these drivers want to get up to a qualifying position and avoid the consi if they possibly can. It appears as though the 12th place car right now is the number 75. That's Donnie Morse. Donnie Morse out of Windham, Maine, with 1 feature event win to his credit. The number 2 of Brad Layton approaching that last qualifying position as he has come from the back of the pack. Now will be challenging the 75 for that last qualifying position. Meanwhile, up front, the 76 of Earl Glidden continues to hold off Mark Field in the number 72. 3 wide out of turn 4 as Beaver Norton is trying to make that third groove work here early in the evening. It will be halfway, indicates flagman Eddie Walsh, as they cross the stripe next time around. 3 abreast racing continues down the backstretch into the 3 turn. It is 8 down and 7 to go. 3 abreast in the 1 turn. Drivers doing an excellent job as 3 abreast racing here is difficult. Ken McLeod back behind the wheel of a limited sportsman as he has had to park the late model for a while. Last year's champion in the limited sportsman division is in the Chris Rule machine. Driving the number 14 tonight, last year's Limited Sportsman champion, Ken McLeod, who has been competing as a rookie in the late model sportsman division, but indicated to me that the finances are running kind of short. Moving on the outside now, Bubba Pelton in the number 27. Challenges Glidden now. They are side by side in the one turn. Pelton with a slight advantage out of the two turn. Looks like the number 70 may be the last qualifier now. Bubba Pelton the new leader as they are working lap number 11. Richard Bubba Pelton in the number 27, new leader. 11 laps down. Three abreast racing continues in the one turn. Danny Palmer trying to work that third groove and stay in a qualifying position. Ron Smith on a pit road. That will put him in the consolation event. Tough competition in this Limited Sportsman division. Cars tangled coming down the front stretch. Danny Palmer's out of shape, way up high. Does a nice job of holding the car, but he has to back out of it and puts him right at the tail end of the lineup. Flagman indicates 2 laps to go. Last qualified car appears to be the number 24 of Danny Bubar. That can change, obviously, and probably will. Brad Layton has covered about 3/4 of the pack now. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go. Brad Layton has come all the way to challenge for 4th place now. Continues to move, challenging for 3rd. Checkered flag in the air for Bubba Pelton. Then comes Ken McLeod, Brad Layton, Earl Glidden, and the 44 of Terry Brown. Cars up against the retaining wall appear to be the 89 of Butch Buzzell as he backed away, the 0 of Gary Clough. Have a round of applause for the winner of heat number 2 in the Limited Sportsman division, Richard Bubba Pelton, with a fine run. Definitely a car to watch in the main event. Last qualified car unofficially was the Z28 of Kevin Durgan. And on the front line, the number 4 is driven by Bobby Babb. The number 37 by Bobby Harrison. Looking for a start at turn 4 is flagman Eddie Walsh. Green is out. Bobby Babb with the advantage as they race the 1 turn to the 2 turn and look down the backstretch. Harrison begins to look to the outside and then tucks it back in behind the number 4. Side-by-side battle shaping up for 3rd. Glenn Cusack to the inside. Here comes Barry Babb to the outside. Mike Johnson looks to the inside of the number 0, and they race side by side for the 4th position. As the drivers are working lap number 2, it continues to be Bobby Babb, but he has Bobby Harrison glued right to the back bumper. Then comes Glenn Cusack in the number 2. Mike Johnson now has the 4th place position, and Barry Babb finds himself in a battle with Bobby Randall for the 5th place position. Babb and Harrison put a little distance on the 3rd place contender. Here comes Mike Johnson looking to the outside of the number 2 of Cusack. Barry Babb takes the car right out over the stripe. Having to back right out of it coming out of the 4 turn, and decides to ride at the back of the pack for a little while. Halfway point, 5 down and 5 to go. Leader continues to be Bobby Babb. Babb has already collected 3 of his qualifying heats and 2 feature events so far this year. The number 4 is a 1990 Chevrolet Lumina, sponsored in part by Robert Babb & Sons Logging and the Hall Implement Company out of Windham, Maine, along with Cobb's Collision in Windham. The 37 of Bobby Harrison, also a Lumina-bodied late model. It'll be 2 laps to go as it continues to be a 2-car race up front. Bobby Randall on the move now as he works to the outside of the number 13 of Mike Mayetta, challenging Mayetta for the 4th position. Ricky Harrison, current point leader in the 85, looking for racing room. White flag. They are in their last lap. Bobby Babb continuing to hold off the 37 of Bobby Harrison. Bobby Randall still trying to make the outside groove work. Checkered flag in the air, and heat number 2 goes to Babb. Followed by Bobby Harrison, Glenn Cusack, Mike Mayetta, and Bobby Randall. As the winner of heat number 2 in the late model Sportsman division coasts down to collect up the colors, let's have a nice round of applause for Bobby Babb, driving the number 4 out of Windham, Maine. The open wheel modifieds, of course, the only open wheel high-powered modifieds running in the state of Maine. Flagman Eddie Walsh indicates to the drivers it's all clear. Look for a start at turn 4. And Mike Mayetta is on the pole in the number 16. Tommy Oliver to his outside in the 29, looking for a start at turn 4. Green is out. Tommy Oliver with a slight advantage as they race the front stretch, but here comes Mike Mayetta right up the inside. David Pinkham on the move in the number 61 as he also fills the inside groove. Willie Elliott tries to follow suit, challenging Oliver for 3rd place, and it looks like he has it. The number 5 of Rondo also will fill that inside groove. And Tommy Oliver has no place to go but stay in that outside groove, at least for now. Mike Mayetta, one of the cars who have been doing quite a lot of testing, along with the number 1 of Willie Elliott, the number 90 of Kevin Tobias. This is modified showdown night, and Mike Mayetta is the current point leader as they approach the halfway point of this qualifying heat. Mike Mayetta will start from the pole tonight, and I'm sure that he's trying to shake this car down and be sure that he is able to stay there if he possibly can. Pete Rondo trying to make the outside groove work as he looks to the outside of the number 50 of Bobby Gahan. Rondo was turning some very fast time in warm-ups this afternoon. Just may be a car who's able to get out there in that second groove and go. Gahan now sets the car out in the second groove and looks as though he might try a challenge to the outside of the number 1. 2 laps to go. Both Gahan and Rondo decide to tuck it back into the inside groove and stay there. White flag is out, 1 lap to go for Mayetta. He now has David Pinkham glued to the back bumper. David Pinkham in the number 61 is the 2-time defending champion here at Beech Ridge Motor Speedway of the modified division. But heat number 2 is going to go to Mike Mayetta as the checkered flag flies, followed by David Pinkham, Willie Elliott, Bobby Gahan, and Pete Rondo. Let's have a nice round of applause for Mike Mayetta, winner of heat number 2 in the modified division, driving the Evans Cavalier, sponsored by the Rowley Insurance Company along with the Mayetta Construction Company. Ready for a start at turn 4. Green is out. Tom Warden in the number 5 shows the way. Side-by-side battle. Here comes the 45 of Paul Driscoll right up the inside to take over the lead. Nice move by Paul Driscoll, takes him right into the lead. Then he is followed by the 5 of Tom Warden, the 103 of Eric Lund. Then comes the number 90 of Rusty Shaw, and he's getting all kinds of pressure as cars are racing 3 wide. All the drivers manage to handle that. Tangle in the 1 turn. Looks like the 9 of Mike Grant is able to drive away from that. The other car, the 52 of Ron Breslin, also driving away, and we stay under green. Black flag going out to the number 41 of Gene Terrio. Meanwhile, up front, it continues to be Paul Driscoll showing the way in the 45. Tom Warden in the number 5. All the drivers looking to collect as many points as they can, be able to get into the qualifying heats next week. Leader continues to be the 45 of Paul Driscoll. Challenge for second place now. Eric Lund on the move, tries to get to the inside of the number 5. They come together, the number 5 turns, gets the car right back going again, and turns it again. And he collects up the 83 of Steve Carrier. And we have cars scattering all over the 4-turn area, and that will put us under a caution. The 83 of Steve Carrier sitting off over the 4-turn, the number 5 of Tom Warden. The 57 of Rod Hughes also involved in that. Semi-feature. Lead in the hands of Paul Driscoll in the number 45, looking for a start at turn 4. Green is out. Right back into the lead, the 45 once again. Here comes Rusty Shaw up the inside. Rusty Shaw with a nice move up the inside takes over second place. Frank Scott on the move to the inside, also challenging beneath the 103 now is the 55 of Mark Bernier. Cars racing 3 abreast in the 3-turn. They will be approaching the halfway mark next time around. Rusty Shaw now has moved to the inside of the 45 of Paul Driscoll, and they are racing almost side by side as they get to the 4-turn. Frank Scott to the inside. Rusty Shaw has the advantage. Then comes Frank Scott in a side-by-side battle with Paul Driscoll. Mark Bernier on the move, and the yellow flag comes out once again, putting the cars under caution. Kind of hard to see that car. Sitting right down over the 3 and 4 turn, officials decide that that's not a safe place. And that's the reason for the yellow flag. So we will revert back to the last lap run under the green flag. Right now, we are ready to restart tonight's Limited Sportsman semi-feature. Rusty Shaw on the pole now. Paul Driscoll to his outside. Green is out. Rusty Shaw with a slight advantage as they race the front stretch to the 1-turn. Driscoll fighting back on the outside. They're even coming out of the 2-turn, looking down the backstretch. Shaw takes a slight advantage into the 3-turn. Side-by-side battle shaping up for third spot, Frank Scott to the inside, Mark Bernier to the outside. Rusty Shaw pulls the car about halfway ahead of the number 45 of Driscoll. Frank Scott trying to fill that inside lane. Cars stacked up from second position right on back. It's a column of twos as the cars battle for position. Frank Scott with the advantage as they race to the 3-turn for that second spot. Driscoll fights right back on the outside. Mark Bernier momentarily boxed in as he is right at the back bumper of Driscoll and has Eric Lund to the inside. Cars get sideways. The Driscoll machine with a tire down. Looks like a flat left rear tire takes the 45 into a spin. He does a nice job of stopping it before he gets into the retaining wall, but that puts the field under caution once again. Assistant starter Junior Niles indicates to the drivers that they have an all clear and look for a start at turn 4. The Beretta from Pape Chevrolet makes its way onto the infield pit road. Rusty Shaw and Frank Scott on the front line, bringing the field down. Green is out. Rusty Shaw with the advantage as they cross the stripe. Then comes Frank Scott. In third place, the 55 of Mark Bernier, but here comes Eric Lund up the inside in the 103. Then comes Ed Gallant in the number 13 to the inside. It will be 2 laps to go. Spin in the 4-turn. Frank Scott gets the car turned, and with him goes the 103 of Eric Lund and several of the other competitors. Caution once again as we have several cars disabled on the edge of the track. Assistant starter Junior Niles on the stand gives the drivers the all clear. Looking for a restart at turn 4. Rusty Shaw on the pole, and the green is out. Rusty Shaw, Frank Scott, the 103 of Eric Lund. Cars getting out of shape in the 1 and 2 turn. And we have a spin and 3 cars disabled in the 2 turn. Checkered flag and the yellow flag come out simultaneously as the drivers negotiate the last lap, coming to a checkered and yellow. As the number 90 of Rusty Shaw out of Sebago Lake, Maine, coasts down to the start-finish line. Let's have a nice round of applause for the winner of tonight's Limited Sportsman semi-feature, Rusty Shaw, driving his Chevrolet Malibu. TNT Auto Body sponsored Malibu. Rusty Shaw in his 4th year of competing here at Beech Ridge Motor Speedway in the Limited Sportsman division. Collected a semi-feature on July 28th. So this is semi-feature win number 2 for the youngster out of Sebago Lake, Maine, Rusty Shaw, with a fine run in his number 90. Next on the inside comes the 01 of Alan Chapman. To his outside, 38 of Beaver Norton. The 107 is driven by Doug Shores. 8 cars to qualify out of tonight's Limited Sportsman consolation event. Flagman Eddie Walsh gives the drivers the all clear as they glance across at the flag stand. Number of top cars still not in the main event as of right now. Ask the drivers to keep it even to turn 4. Green is out. Dan White, Larry Gelinas from the outside. Larry Gelinas into the lead. Then comes Dan White in the 114. Side-by-side battle shaping up for the third position. Steve Howard on the inside, Mike Field to the outside. Then comes Beaver Norton in the number 38. Cars get together out of the four-turn. The 38 of Norton did a nice job of backing right out of it as he came together with the 88 of Mike Field. Remember, only 8 cars to qualify. Larry Gelinas has jumped into a comfortable lead. Last qualified car right now would be the number 38 of Beaver Norton. Larry Gelinas with a commanding lead in number 37. Youngster out of Scarborough, Maine, who has been an impressive runner this year in the number 37. Has collected 2 semi-features and a heat win so far this year. 8th place is right now up for grabs, the 38 of Beaver Norton. Then comes the 88 of Mike Field, the 24 of Danny Bubar. 4-time feature winner Butch Buzzell right now sits outside of a qualifying position in the number 89. 8th place car is the number 38 of Beaver Norton. And he's being challenged by Danny Bubar in the 24, who's trying to take over that position. Looks like he has, at least momentarily. First 2 cars just literally pulling away from the rest of the pack. Larry Gelinas now with about a half-track lead over the last qualified car, which sits in 8th place. They will be approaching the halfway mark next time around. Flagman Eddie Walsh indicates it will be halfway next time by. Larry Gelinas just cruising in that number 37. Then comes Steve Howard, Alan Chapman, Danny Palmer, Danny Bubar, Doug Shores, Dan White, Beaver Norton. Last qualified car appears to be the 38 of Beaver Norton, but obviously that can change in a moment. Looks like it's Dan White now. You keep counting them back, ladies and gentlemen. Only 8 of these cars to qualify. The 37 with an impressive run in the consolation event. That last qualifying spot is still up for grabs as the cars are battling side by side for that last qualifying position. Flagman indicates it'll be 2 to go next time by. Larry Gelinas has just continued to burn up the track tonight, running away from the rest of the field. Eighth position is still up for grabs. White flag is out for the race leader. Then comes the 03 of Steve Howard. Alan Chapman in the 01. Danny Palmer in the 93. Last qualified car of his to be the 78 of Dave Fecto. Cars tangle in the 1 and 2 turn. The 114 and I believe the 78 will bring out the caution and the check-it to finish the consolation event, as the cars have to scatter to avoid those 2 cars sitting there. Looks like the 114 and possibly the 78 sitting there off the 114 and 49 involved there between the 1 and 2 turn. Getting these modifieds underway for their Showdown 1990. Officials making certain that all the belts and safety nets and all the safety equipment is secured. Making that final check. Officials indicate the drivers are set. Drivers, good luck to you all. Now, ladies and gentlemen, on the count of 3, I'd like you to help me with those 4 most famous words in auto racing. 1, 2, 3. Gentlemen, start your engine. Ladies and gentlemen, as the cars approach the front stretch, let's give them a nice wave off tonight. Wave your hat, your hand, your handkerchief, light your lighter if you have one. Let these modified drivers know that you're sending them off for their Modified Showdown 1990. Flagman Eddie Walsh indicating to the drivers that they can tighten the lineup up. Officials indicate that the scoreboard is not working tonight. That's why the laps are not being counted. There is evidently a blown circuit. Modifieds ready for Showdown 1990. Flagman Eddie Walsh giving the drivers the okay as they glance across from the backstretch. Mike Mayetta and Tommy Oliver on the front line. Pace car will turn left onto the infield pit road. Mayetta and Oliver bring them down. Turn 4, green is out. Mike Mayetta jumps right out from the pole to lead the way. Here comes David Pinkham right up the inside in the number 61. Tommy Oliver working to the outside of Willie Elliott. Inside row getting the advantage as Elliott takes over 3rd place. Here comes Scott Watts up the inside. Those cars in the outside row, no place else to go right now. Tommy Oliver continues to work the outside groove, working to the outside of Bobby Gahan now. The other car in the outside groove is the 21 of Dave Lamprin. David Pinkham closes it up on the 16 of Mike Mayetta. Willie Elliott does the same at the rear bumper of the 61. Working lap number 5 of this 35-lap feature event. Drivers settling in a position. Jimmy Emerson working the outside groove as he works between cars. Mike Mayetta continues to show the way with a lot of pressure from David Pinkham and Willie Elliott. Everyone working the same groove right now. All the drivers knowing that when the tires heat up, someone is going to have to make that outside groove work if they're going to challenge the 16 of Mike Mayetta. The number 5 of Pete Rondo looked to the outside of the F80 just momentarily. Mentioned that Rondo was turning very quick time in warm-ups. Just may be the car to watch to make that move into the outside groove. Cars split up into a couple of contingents. Second group trying to obviously close the gap if they possibly can. Jimmy Emerson looking to the outside of the number 90. Rondo with a lot of pressure at the back bumper of the F80. I'm sure several of these drivers anxious to try that outside groove, but so far a little reluctant to. Current point leader Mike Mayetta continues to show the way. They'll be approaching the halfway mark next time by. 35 laps on tap tonight for the modifieds. Halfway. Top 7 cars very even, turning the track at slightly over 15 seconds flat. Everyone a little reluctant to move to the outside. Several of the cars look like they have more. The 61 of Pinkham seems to be able to get right up to the bumper and looks as though he puts the brakes on. The number 5 looks as though he is able to go a little faster and hasn't quite decided to set out. The 24 of Jimmy Emerson trying desperately to work his way out and around the number 90. Keeps challenging to the outside and not quite able to draw it even. Jimmy Emerson now, as the 90 goes wide, gets under the number 90 of Tobias, gains a position. Brad Layton continues to try to work to the outside of the number 21. Tommy Oliver now looks again to the outside of the Gahan machine. Mayetta continues to run the same time, lap after lap, 15.1. Emerson closing the gap between that front contingent, and he pulls away from that rear contingent of cars. Front 7 cars bumper to bumper. They continue to circle the track in about the same groove. All the drivers reluctant to move out of that groove, knowing that if it doesn't work, they lost their spot and the rest of the line is going to go by. Tommy Oliver, perhaps the driver with the least to lose, as he has some breathing space back there. Just may try it. He keeps looking to the outside of the number 50 of Bobby Gahan. Next time around, Mike Mayetta opens up a little bit of distance. David Pinkham looks to close it right up again. Two to go as the drivers have the final 2 laps to try to gain a position if they possibly can. One lap to go as the white flag waves. The number 5 with an engine coming apart evidently. A big puff of smoke out of the Pete Rondo machine. Then it seemed to clear right out again. Checkered flag is out for Mike Mayetta as the High Point man clinches the modified showdown. Very even field of modifieds tonight, as it was a freight train style and no one really taking the chance on moving out of that groove that was working very well. Mike Mayetta coasts down to collect up the colors. Driving an Evans Cavalier, sponsored by Rowley Insurance and the Mayetta Construction Company. Feature win number 3 on the 1990 season for Mike Mayetta, as he continues to pad that point lead. We will take a quick look at that modified point standing. Coming into tonight's racing, Mike Mayetta had a 2-point lead over Tommy Oliver in second. David Pinkham was third, Bobby Gahan fourth, Willie Elliott fifth, Pete Rondo sixth, Scott Watt seventh, Spike Matitol eighth, Lou Weatherby ninth, and Kevin Tobias 10th. As Mike Mayetta exits the car, let's go trackside to Andy Cusack. Andy?
Thanks, Bruce. Mike, congratulations. You barely have a sweat beaded up on you. What was it like running out there tonight?
I'm glad I started on the pole.
You know, the race kind of got into a single file start right off quick in an inverted lineup like that. What is it like for you as a driver? Is the thrill of victory not as much in a race like this? Is it just the same?
Oh, I don't know. They all feel pretty good. You know, you start on the pole, you got to pace yourself through the whole race, so it's not as easy as people think. We did make the changes in the cars this week, and because everybody's still trying to get them ironed out, including ourselves, but hopefully we'll get it squared away. We can do the same thing coming from the back.
Well, we all hope that everything gets straightened out for everybody's sake. Gary Libby from Main Speed and Off-Road has the presentation for you this afternoon. Sponsor, Gary.
Congratulations on your victory, Mike. This is on behalf of Main Speed and Off-Road Company.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your support in racing.
A little different story for you coming up, Mike. You'll get to start up near the back of the pack in the late model Sportsman division. How do things look for that tonight?
The car feels good. You know, we're starting on the outside, so we're going to try. We've been trying to get the car to go on the outside anyways. As you know, it's been kind of difficult, but we made a couple changes tonight, and we'll see what happens, I guess.
Well, here's a little icing on the cake for you, a $50 gift contingency from the Big A Auto Parts Company to make the night complete.
Thank you very much, Andy, and thank Ottawa.
You're very welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, a nice round of applause and congratulations to Mike Mayetta. The race time for you now to reach into your pocket.
Flagman Eddie Walsh indicates to the drivers it's all clear. Look for a start at turn 4. "30 laps on tap for the limited sportsman. Alan Burraby and Gordon Nelson bring the field down. Green is out. Alan Burraby with a slight advantage as they race the front stretch to the one turn. Gordon Nelson trying to fight back on the outside. Then comes Alan Chapman in the 01, Phil Weeks in the 19. Phil Weber in a battle to the outside of the 06 of Dennis Quinn for the first half dozen. Gordon Nelson on the move on the outside as he draws it even with the number 50 of Burraby. They are bumper to bumper and wheel to wheel out of the 4-turn down the front stretch. Slight advantage to Gordon Nelson. They are working lap number 3 out of the 2-turn down the backstretch, even once again. The lead is up for grabs between Alan Burraby and Gordon Nelson. Second place is also a side-by-side battle. Alan Chapman to the inside, Phil Weber to the outside. Phil Weeks sitting back there just waiting to see what's going to happen as these drivers battle door handle to door handle for those top 4 positions. You take a look at where the high point men are now, the number 2, the number 111, the Z28, and then see where they are in about 10 or 12 laps. Alan Burraby has broken that side-by-side battle to have the lead to himself for right now. Alan Chapman has done a nice move right up the inside to take second. Now it's a side-by-side battle for third. Phil Weber to the inside, Gordon Nelson to the outside. Three wide racing back in the pack, and the drivers do a nice job of making that work. Cars spin in the 3 turns. Several cars tangle. That will bring out the yellows. We have a wheel off one of the cars. The 44 of Terry Brown sits there disabled. He's got it underway now. Have a wheel rolling right back toward the infield. Flagman Eddie Walsh indicates to the drivers that they have an all clear and they should look for a restart at turn 4. Six laps down in this 30-lap main event for the limited sportsman. On the pole, it's Alan Burraby in the number 50 to his outside, the 01 of Alan Chapman. Green flag comes out. Alan Burraby with a big jump right at the start. Now has the 161 of Gordon Nelson at his rear bumper. Then comes Alan Chapman in the 01. Doug Shores in the 107. And 5th place now in the hands of the number 19 of Phil Weeks as he works to the outside of the 68 of Chuck Haynes. Haynes is right back on the inside to challenge. Not ready to give up that position. Yellow flag is out once again. Did see the 79 get off over the 3 turn. We'll have to check and see if that's what the yellow came out for. Flagman Eddie Walsh giving the drivers the all clear. This time, Alan Burraby has Gordon Nelson to his outside. Pace car makes its way onto the infield pit road. And we should be ready to restart as the flagman points to turn 4. Asks the drivers to hold it even. They begin to pick up the pace. And green is out. Alan Burraby right back into the lead. Gordon Nelson working to his outside. Alan Chapman to the inside. Doug Shores in the outside groove as they race to the 3-turn. It's a battle now, 2 abreast for those top 3 positions. Spin by the number 70, and he's collected by the 69 of Richard Olin. And that will put the cars right back under caution once again as Jeff Morgan takes a hard hit after spinning coming out of the 4-turn down the front stretch. And a lot of front end damage to the number 70 of Jeff Morgan. Flagman Eddie Walsh gives the drivers the all clear, indicating that we should be able to look for a start in turn 4. Flagman Eddie Walsh asks the drivers to hold it even. Approaching turn 4, looking for a start. Green is out. Once again, Alan Burraby shows the way in the number 50. Gordon Nelson in second. Side-by-side battle for third. Alan Chapman to the inside. Here comes Doug Shores up the outside. Now looking to the outside of the 161 of Gordon Nelson is Doug Shores in the 107. Doug Shores on the move, one of the few Fords in competition here, and it is a strong one. 107 now challenging the second place competitor. Looking to the outside now of the number 50 as they race to the 1-turn. 66 gets out of shape and spins right at the exit of the infield pit road. He keeps it under power, and we stay under green. Brad Layton's on the move in the number 2 as he's working the outside groove. Doug Shores continues to work in the outside groove to the outside of the 161 of Gordon Nelson, now to the outside of the number 50 once again. Doug Shores, one feature win to his credit so far in 1990, trying to make it number 2 tonight here as he works to the outside of Alan Burraby. Cars are even at the start-finish line. Number 2 of Brad Layton right out into the 3rd and 4th groove. Brings it back, does a nice job of holding the car from getting out of shape. Doug Shores now putting a half a car ahead of the number 50 out of the 4-turn down the front stretch. They're still battling side by side as Burraby fights back on the inside. Doug Shores tries it once again down the backstretch, trying to draw it even once again with the number 50 of Burraby. The 3 and 4 turn seems to be a strong corner for the 107, and he's the new leader as they negotiate lap number 15 right at the halfway mark. Doug Shores takes over in a Ford. Doug Shores trying to stretch out a lead now over the rest of the pack. He is followed by Alan Burraby, Gordon Nelson, Alan Chapman, and Phil Weeks for the top 5. The number 2 of Brad Layton has worked his way up to about the 13th position. Cars racing 3 wide down the backstretch. They have to get into the brakes just a little bit in order to not overdrive that 3-turn. Meanwhile, the 107 of Doug Shores has opened up a considerable lead over the second place competitor. They are working lap number 21. Laps down, 9 to go. Doug Shores with a commanding lead now as he races the 3 and 4 turn area, looks down the front stretch. Brad Layton continues to work 3 wide, trying to work his way out and around the 69, and 69 gets tagged and in turns collects up the number 2 of Layton. And a tough break for the current point leader as he is again set right back to the very last position. 3 wide racing is very, very dangerous. That's the type of thing that can happen. Gordon Nelson trying to take over the second position as he's working his way outside the number 50. They are working lap number 25. They'll see 5 laps to go. 5 laps to go as they cross the start-finish line. Ken McLeod doing a nice job in the number 14 as he's working to the outside of the number 19, trying to work his way up into the top 5, and he does. Now challenging for 4th place. Cars tangle out of the 1 turn. The 100 of John McMullen collects up the 01 of Alan Chapman. They keep underway. 2 laps to go. Doug Shores with a commanding lead. Gordon Nelson in second. Ken McLeod has now worked his way up to 3rd. Danny Bubar is 4th as the white flag flies. Doug Shores collects his 2nd feature event of the 1990 season. Doug Shores goes down to collect up the colors from flagman Eddie Walsh. He'll parade the checkered flag, and then we'll have a chance to hear from tonight's Limited Sportsman feature event winner, Doug Shores, as he collects his 2nd feature event in a Ford Thunderbird sponsored by Yankee Ford Sales, along with Ed's Battery and the Will Shore Farm. Doug Shores, young man who works as a farmer and is an individual campaigning one of the few Fords here at the Speedway very successfully. Let's go trackside now for a chance to hear from the race leader, to Andy Cusack. Andy?
Thanks, Bruce.
Congratulations again. A nice job tonight. Well, thanks a lot. I got to thank Yankee Ford for taking an interest in a Ford this year, and the crew that's been helping us out, staying with it. We've been having some rough luck, but it makes it all worthwhile when we finish like this.
You know, most of the drivers in the division have been talking about the Camaros out there. The Camaros have this huge advantage. They're sweeping the top position. And they're thinking that the Chevelle is the secondary, and they're kind of number two. And here you come in with a Ford, you just make them all look ridiculous. What have you done to the car? Why does it go so well?
I don't know. We're at about a 200-pound weight disadvantage. And as long as we can get along, we're not getting pounded too bad, we go pretty good.
You sure do. And I know there's a lot of fans out there that like sports products that are behind you all the way. James Jones from the Main Speed and Off-Road Company has the presentation for you. James?
Yeah, for me, the census on your win. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, a nice round of applause for Doug George.
Green is out. Al Burset trying to make it go from the outside, and he does out of the two-turn down the backstretch. On the move is Kenny Lund now as he works to the outside of the number 19 of Jay Johnson. Al Burset brings him down for lap number 1. It's a side-by-side battle for second. Jay Johnson to the inside, Kenny Lund to the outside. Inside row has to get off it just a little bit. As you can see, the brakes come on. 19 is up the bank now. Problem on the number 19 of Jay Johnson as he takes it right out over the edge of the track. Possibly a flat tire or some other mechanical failure. Meanwhile, Al Burset is showing the way. Tough break for Jay Johnson in the 19. Gary Pulsiver has filled that second spot. Andy Lude is third. Joe Bowser is fourth. Side-by-side battle for fifth. Bobby Harrison to the inside, Kenny Lund working the outside. Then comes Bobby Libby in the 34, Bobby Babb in the 4, and Barry Babb in the 0. Gary Pulsiver looking to the outside of the number 17 of Burset now. That allows Andy Lude to fill the inside group. Side by side out of the two-turn down the backstretch. Burset to the inside. Gary Pulsiver to the outside. Andy Lude looking for racing room to the inside. Gary Pulsiver continues to try to the outside of the 56 and looks to the outside once again to the number 17. Bumper to bumper and wheel to wheel is the 56, the 17, the 27, the 32, and the 37 is the top 5. It put a little distance on Bobby Libby, who sits 6th on the field. Libby and Bobby Babb close it up now. point leader Ricky Harrison momentarily boxed in, as he has no place to go, sitting to the outside of Mike Johnson and at the back bumper of Paul Johnson. Andy Lude now is the second place challenger, as Gary Pulsifer has lost the grip just a little bit on the outside. Banks fenders with the 32 of Joe Bowser, has to get out of it just a little bit. That opens up the inside for Bobby Harrison. Number 19 of Jay Johnson back out of the pit area. Evidently made some corrections and wants to see if it straightens out the problem on the 19. Meanwhile, it continues to be Al Burset showing the way. Al Burset, in his rookie year in late model sportsman competition, up from the limited sportsman division, driving the Gary Dobson Eagle Racing Team 1990 Pontiac Grand Prix. Al Burset has had 3 heat wins already in the 1990 season, has led some feature events, but has so far been unable to capture a main event. And right now he has a mirror full of Andy Lude in the number 56. Andy Lude, one of the hard chargers here in the late model division. Andy Lude has 4 feature wins to his credit in the 1990 season. Flagman Eddie Walsh indicates it will be halfway next time by. Al Burset continues to hold off Andy Lude, but now Andy Lude moves to the outside to make a challenge. Side by side they cross the start-finish line. Slight advantage to Andy Lude as they race the 1 turn to the 2 turn. Andy Lude, the new leader, as they negotiate the backstretch. Looking for feature win number 5. Andy Lude, in lap number 20, takes over the point and begins to quickly put some distance on the number 17 of Al Burset. Joe Bowser is sitting 3rd, Bobby Harrison 4th, and Bobby Libby 5th. They will have the lap car of Billy Charles to deal with this time around. Charles holds it on the inside groove, and the drivers do a nice job of working to the outside. Andy Lude building a convincing lead now. Cars tangle coming out of the 4 turn. It is Kerry Winslow and Kenny Lund getting together, and both of the cars disabled. Kerry Winslow able to refire the number 49. Flagman Eddie Walsh indicates the track is clear, and we should be ready for a restart as the drivers approach turn 4. Andy Lude to the inside, Al Burset to the outside. They bring the field down. Flagman Eddie Walsh pointing to turn 4, having the drivers hold it even. Green is out. Andy Lude gets the jump right back into the lead. Here comes Joe Bowser up the inside, the number 32, taking over second spot as he works beneath the 17 of Brissett. Brissett ducks it inside to take third. It's a side-by-side battle for fourth. Bobby Libby to the inside in the number 34. Bobby Harrison to the outside in the 37. Then comes a side-by-side battle for the next position, the number 4 of Bobby Babb and the 07 of Phil Pinkham. From fourth position on back, it's a side-by-side battle. Tough competition in this late model sportsman division. Tim Land takes it right out over the 4-turn. And it looks like he'll be able to keep the car underway and we'll stay under green. Meanwhile, Andy Lude once again stretching his lead out just as he did prior to the restart. Mechanical difficulty evidently plaguing the number 16 of Tim Land. Well, maybe he just got out of shape there off over the turn. Elects to take it right back on the end of the lineup. Andy Lude with a commanding lead. Then comes Joe Bowser in the 32. Al Brissett in the 17. Bobby Harrison in the 37. Side-by-side battle for fifth. Almost a 3-wide battle now as Bobby Babb takes it right up through the inside. And the 35 spins in a little tangle there with the 34. Paul Johnson is quickly set right to the back end of the lineup. Side-by-side battle for third. Al Brissett to the inside, Phil Pinkham to the outside. 5 laps to go. The race continues to be for third place. Tim Land now takes the 16 on the pit road. Working lap number 33 is race leader Andy Lude, and he will see 2 laps to go this time by the flag stand. 33 down and 2 to go in this 35-lap feature event. The race continues to be for third place. Al Brissett working to the inside, Phil Pinkham to the outside. Bobby Harrison just waiting to see what will happen. The white flag is in the air. They are in their last lap. Checkered flag flies for Andy Lude as he collects feature win number 5. Then comes Joe Bowser. Al Brissett third, and too close to call for the next spot. 37 and 07 round out the top 5. Andy Lude with a convincing 5th feature win on the 1990 season. Andy Lude out of Biddeford, Maine. He'll coast down and collect up the colors, make his parade lap, and then we'll have an opportunity to hear from tonight's feature winner. Andy Lude, at this point in the season, the winningest late model sportsman driver here at Beech Ridge Motor Speedway, driving a Pontiac, owned by Roger Landry, sponsored in part by Atlantic Precision Products, Doobie Drywall. Andy Lude, a veteran here at Beech Ridge Motor Speedway, returns the colors to flagman Eddie Walsh. And momentarily we will have an opportunity to hear from tonight's late model sportsman feature winner. And let's go trackside now to Andy Cusack. Andy?
Thanks, Bruce. Please welcome Andy Lude. I wondered for a while, were you trying to run away and hide out there? You got out front, didn't let off. Congratulations, Andy.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you very much.
A nice job tonight. What was it like out there for you? You got out front, no traffic to contend with. Did you have a good time?
Yeah, hell of a time. Hell of a time.
They should all be that easy, shouldn't they?
Oh, they don't come like that all the time. They really don't.
This makes 5 wins for you in 1990. At this point, what is your goal? Do you continue to look for points? Do you just look for wins? What are you doing the rest of the year?
No, we're not concerned about the points. We really ain't. We just don't seem to go good when we run for points. So we'll just go for the money and keep the car going.
Let the points fall where they may. Well, it certainly is working out well for you so far. Gary Libby from the Main Speed and Off-Road Company has a nice trophy for you to go on the mantle. Gary?
We'd like to present this trophy to you on behalf of the Main Speed and Off-Road Company, and congratulations on your victory.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about the sponsors on your car as well, Andy, and people that are making it all work for you.
Oh, geez. These guys are super. They really are. They keep me going. Atlantic Precision Products is a machine shop in Biddeford that really loves us. It really does. And nothing they wouldn't do for us, keep us out there. Doobie Drywall is the same thing. You know, nothing they wouldn't do to keep us out there. Quality used cars, a guy in the wrecker out there. Make sure I keep keep on coming back and make sure the car looks good. And, you know, and I got another drywall, 40-year drywall. He loves it just as much as Doobie does, you know, so. It's unbelievable. It really is. It's sponsors like that that really keeps this type of car going anyways. I'm not real rich by any means. And
well, we know they're very proud of you tonight, and we congratulate you on win number 5, and we wish you the best of luck and root for the 6th victory. Congratulations, Andy.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, a final round of applause for Andy Lude. Bruce Elder, Wildcat, just for you.
Ready for a green out of turn 4. Green is out. 65 and 7B battling for the lead. Race leader is defending champion Brian Hanscom in the number 1, followed by the 29 of James Fitz. Then comes the side-by-side battle. Now the 29 of Jim Fitz with the advantage as they race the 3-turn. Brian Hanscom fighting back on the outside as we end up with Wildcat Team B rather than C. Jim Fitz shows the way, then Brian Hanscom. 69 of Tom Lovejoy is in third. Then comes the 7. That's Clyde Hennessy. Brian Hanscom gets under the 29 of Jim Fitz to recapture the lead. Fitz will fight right back on the inside, try to get the advantage over Brian Hanscom. Number 20 in the infield, still underway. Red flag is out, however, as we have a car hard into the sand pile over in the 3 turn. Puts the cars under red flag. Driver indicates that he is okay as the safety men are there assisting him. Car that rolled into the sandbank there is the number 4 of Michael Westcott. Slight advantage, but here comes Hanscom right back up the inside in the number 1. Fitz goes a little wide. 3-way battle for third. Now a 4-way battle shaping up. It looks like the 53 momentarily with that third place. He's in a 3-way battle. 53 is driven by Reggie Gilbert. The 69 is Tom Lovejoy, who's taken over that position again. Spin in the 3 and 4 turn. 3 cars spin around there. Drivers do a good job of avoiding that. Spin in the 4 turn, and up into the infield goes the number 60. Car backwards here, coming out of the 4 turn down the front stretch, puts us under red flag once again. We find out who has brakes and who doesn't. Get the rest of that lineup for you. The 47 is Michael Stover, 49 John Savoy, 53 Reggie Gilbert, Team B point standing finds Brian Hanscom, the point leader, followed by Jim Fitz. Then comes Steve Clough, who was actually in a tie for third with Jeffrey Greenstreet. Then Wayne Marshall. Clyde Hennessy is 5th. Jim Kramlich, 6th. Charles Ward, 7th. Randall Meserve is in a tie with Wayne Whitten Jr. We are awaiting a restart. Green is out, and it's about a 3-car battle for the lead. Right up the inside comes the number 13. Number 13 is Steve Clough. He's being pursued by Brian Hanscom. We have cars tangled right here out of the front stretch. They get them separated okay. The 33 driven by Darrell Morrill, and the 56 is driven by Jim Shaw. Number 11 also having a little difficulty is Steve Joyce. Red flag is out once again. Have a car up against the tie barrier out of turn 4. Wildcat division, of course, kind of an entry-level division now. Very low buck automobiles, as you can tell. Waiting for a restart. The green flag is out. Once again, it is the number 13 of Steve Clough with the advantage off the start. Then comes Brian Hanscom in the number 1. Jim Fitz on the move in the number 29, as is the 45, driven by Jeffrey Greenstreet. Tangle on the backstretch. 69. We also have a tangle in the 4 turn as Brian Hanscom is spun into the infield. The 29, the new leader. Jim Fitz, followed by the 45 of Jeff Greenstreet. Red flag is out once again. That will close things up considerably. Jim Fitz right up the inside. Recaptures the lead. Back up into second place comes Brian Hanscom in the number 1. Then he is followed by the 13. Spin in the 3 turn as the cars get into some slippery going there. The number 12 is still sitting facing the wrong way. He finally gets the car going, and everyone but one appears to be underway, and he's sitting off the track. Leader continues to be the 29 of Jim Fitz. Second place is Brian Hanscom in the number 1. Then comes the 13 of Steve Clough. Looks like the 44, driven by Charles Ward, is to be in 4th. And the 39, driven by Jim Morse, unofficially in 5th place. Car spins in the 2 turn, does a nice job of getting it straightened out. Car into the infield. The 53. Number 12 also spins it off over the 1 turn. Brian Hanscom closing it up on Jim Fitz now in the number 29. As they race the 4 turn, look down the front stretch, they are under the white flag. Jim Fitz, Brian Hanscom race the backstretch. Checkered flag is out, and it will be Jim Fitz in the number 29. Brian Hanscom in the number 1. Then comes the 13 and the 44. Unofficially, they are the top 4 cars. Jim Fitz out of Hollis, Maine, and he has been a repeat winner here in the Wildcat B team. Coast down to collect the flag. We will have an opportunity to hear from the winner of the B team feature in just a few moments, as we will go track tonight to Andy Cusack. Andy?
Thanks, Bruce. Jim, congratulations. Kind of a fun race out there for you tonight. A lot of nice competition between you and Brian Hanscom, 2 former champions. Did you have a good time?
Yeah, I had a real good time. Good bunch of guys to race with.
It's a lot of fun out there for you. I know it at this point. You know, this should get you into the season-end championship. Any special strategy for that?
Just keep clean, I guess.
Well, you're doing a nice job of it. The car always looks immaculate. A wonderful job. We congratulate you again. Ladies and gentlemen, James Fitz. Thank you all for being here tonight. From my family to yours, it's been a pleasure to have you with us. Bruce Elder, back to you.
Thank you, Andy. Once again, that concludes our race program for the evening. Good night.